Okay, on to our next step. So we basically, previous video, we touched on planning in our purchasing of inventory based on the jobs that we got going. Also scheduling the production. So you could have multiple things like, you need to produce a kitchen or you need to cut some stone for the kitchen. So that'd be two productions that you need for the one job. Um, but now what we're going to look at is in our simple demo is just my kitchen, Roger's kitchen. um, how do we handle that production? So basically, we're going to move into a role of manufacturing manager. So obviously, the manufacturing manager could also be the project manager, but you just want to change the role in the system to manufacturing manager because you just want to focus on, okay, what productions have we got? When are we planning on doing them? How do we schedule them in based on, who's available, based on demand, based on work centres that assemble the kitchen, that sort of thing. So we'll just jump right in to see what that looks like. Okay. So once again, like all things Business Central, each role has a different view. So basically, here's a view, and you also it's just a dashboard. So we go through the top. So here's your production orders, sales invoices, everything that's related to a production that I care about. I can see here. You know, Planning worksheet, which we touched on earlier, requisition worksheet, very similar to planning worksheet, but this is for more larger organisations that may have, bigger a bigger purchasing department, and they just focus on purchasing. But in your case, planning worksheets is fine. Yeah, and we can also with jobs, subcontract out in a job, so you can keep track of that as well, and you can do some costings as well. But yeah, so and obviously the design with the product bombs, how you route it through your factory, all that sort of thing. You got access to here. So in our case, we've got this kitchen here. I can check out those bombs and that sort of thing, see what I'm dealing with. You can imagine that you could have a lot of those, but it gives you an idea, gives you that visibility and all the data in one place. So looking here, we've got production orders, which are my main focus. I can see that I've got one in planned. Now this planned, and then yep, you've received you put it in firm planned as you're happy with the dates, comparing the other productions, you're good to go. You're just waiting on, your items to come in, and then you release them. Once they're released, that's when they're on the floor. They're getting done. So you can imagine that this is going to be a pipeline, bunch planned. You've received your stuff. It's firm planned now. It's ready to go, but you're still waiting on your backlog to clear. So you can just basically use this pipeline or workflow to manage that, and you can move things around, move things back to you realize you didn't get any stock. All right, we're going to move it back, and that sort of thing. So you can do all that here using this. All right, so let's check it out. So we've got one, but you imagine you're going to have a whole bunch. You see the dates and all that. And you go, okay, well, what's this job? Okay, it's only one kitchen. Could be 10. Could be a builder coming in. You got a view now because obviously you got all your data in there. You got a view. You can see. Okay, so when are we scheduling this in? Okay, well that time's wrong, so we can't do that. So basically, you can see it's here, but on the 14th, let's schedule it for the morning. Now you can get more advanced tools, but for the demo, I'm just going to show this. Basically, if I schedule this in, see, it said 5 minutes. It's going to take me to build a kitchen. You've got a super quick assembly line. Now that's all configurable. I obviously haven't got it configured correctly, but for the sake of the demo, you've got a super quick, you've got a super quick team, and they're going to build it that. All right. So what I can see here is I can see the components that this requires, this production. All right. So it needs all these. So I need that. All right. Okay. To produce Roger's kitchen. I can also see where I'm going to how I'm going to route it through. So I've only got one work center set up, which is the assembled kitchen. But you can imagine that I might have other other areas in here, such as the delivery or stone cutting or anything like that, or it could be all grouped together, very configurable. But you see, I've got a super quick team. They're gonna take 5 minutes, so this is run on minutes. But obviously, you'll configure anything like that in your routes. So yeah, it's all very configurable. But for the sake of the demo, I just want to show the flow. Okay, so we've got this in. So what do we do now? So basically, simple. Um, we can just check. Well, we can. Well, look, I'll go through some options. You can change status, replan, and all that. There's some handy reports here. You can have a look at the order actions. There's update unit costs, bunch of stuff that you can do, planning, all that sort of thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to run here, and we're going to change the status, and we're going to release. Well, I'm going to firm plan it first, just to go through the flow. All right, so you can see that now. If I go here, firm planned. Pretty happy with our plan. So I want to check here. All right, so I want to come here. Is I want to make sure I've got all my stock in. So I'll run this. Do I have a shortage? Okay, great. So there's no shortage. But if there was a shortage, like if there wasn't any orders from a purchase item, I would have got a report there. It would have said you're missing this item, this item, this item. So I can't release this until I've got my items. But what that's telling me is everything's in stock. I'm good to go. I'll just show this as well. You can print job cards, which just basically has some details. Once again, like everything in the system, these are very configurable. But this is just the material requirements, and we can schedule all that. Time need. It's got. I haven't got it configured correctly, but when we set up your work centers, we'll get some rough idea on how long it takes to configure a kitchen, or we can, obviously set that in here. We go, look, this is a complex kitchen. It's going to take 60 minutes and that sort of thing. And that'll adjust the times, etc. And then we can just see that time change, or it's going to take 120 minutes to do that kitchen, because I know I'm the manufacturing manager. I know what it's going to take. So you'll see here the times changed, and it's going to take 10:30. Now that's important because obviously when you look at your schedule, you need to know what you can, based on the demand, what you can put into release. So let's release this. All right, so we've released it now. So this thing is ready to go. It's in production. It's released, and then you can see what you got here released. All right, so this is going to finish at 10:30 a.m. on there. So therefore, I can start another one at 11 on that day. So basically, it gives you that look. There's an external tool you can get with Gantt charts, and you can actually drag and drop your production. So we can look at that. If you do decide that this is the system for you, just know that this is vanilla out of the box, and there are some really, really cool things where you can really makes it user friendly. But out of the box, this is what you get, and basically it gives you an idea of I mean, it's good to do. It's better than nothing. Obviously, you want that experience to be a bit better and more visual, based on capacity of work centers, resources, people working at the work centers, and all that. But for the sake of this demo, very manual. We've got that. All right. So now we've got that ready to go. Our release ship order. So what I want to show you, some things on here before we finish it, is basically, if you can imagine in the background, people are going to be logging their times and everything like that. So I just want to show you what that looks like. So you're going to use, for a job, in the background, you're going to consume items from the inventory. So remember, we've ordered these in, where I've got this set to automatically adjust the inventory, but you can do it manually. This is the manual thing, but we wouldn't do that. But all things in the background, this is the thing, Troy, that we're talking about with start, stop, as it goes through work centers. That'll log time against here, so you can see the run time, setup time, but you can override the automated process and then come in here and go, oh, we actually only use we to one of those or half of those, or we didn't use that in the end. But you get the idea. Just know that in the background, when things are being assembled, once a production is released, that all these things will be adjusted um, based on the tracking solutions that we put in place. But in the absence of tracking solutions, we can just punch in some things here. But in our scenario, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go. Oh, I haven't got it set up right. In our scenario, very manual, just for the demo. I'm just going to go. Yep, this is finished. So that'll go through. That's just basically taking everything off inventory. But now, if I check my inventory item, that item's assembled. It's ready to ship. So let's check it out. Let's see what we've got. So let's see Roger's Kitchen. All right, yeah, well, there we go. We've got one in quantity now. It's ready. We're ready to ship it. So yeah, it's all assembled, good to go. So which we'll touch on in the next video. So now we've got nothing. It's all done. It's out the door, ready for the next process.